Well, I was gonna be nice about this, but being nice just don't get you nowhere. So I just gotta be, I just gotta be me. Some will say I'm a nice person, others will say I'm not. I'm only nice to people who deserve being nice to. But unequivocally, I'm the most famous nobody in talk radio. Many shows know who I am. They know Sean from Queens, Sean from New York, talking knowledge. And they know who I am because I don't bite my tongue when they say stupid shit. I expose their buffoonery and their hypocrisy, just like I do with Democrats. I don't see the need to curry favor anymore with people who have voices and they want to pontificate and give their opinions and, coerce people into thinking a certain way. I don't see the need to, hold back on anybody, man. Like, nobody's off limits to me anymore. And that's why they don't like me. Because when I go at them in a way that makes them look really stupid. And 9 out of 10 times, they can't rebut me making them look fucking stupid. So I'm going to make Meathead look stupid again because I tuned into him this morning. And without fail, I mean, he just, for the last 2 weeks, I've been getting a lot of clips about him and things he's saying. And I just was like, I just don't, like, he's just a meathead to me. He's not that intelligent. His critical thinking skills just aren't there. I mean, think about this with Chris DeGaulle, right? And it was funny because I got a clip and my friend was like, yo, you're right. He does use AI to write his newsletter. He actually admitted it. I know I'm right. I've been telling people that he doesn't write his newsletters. And before he started using ChatGPT and Gronk, his wife was writing them for him. The man was never writing his own newsletters. So, but he admitted it. He admitted that, he's using AI to write his newsletters now. Now think about that. Because see, newsletters, when people subscribe to a newsletter, right? Why are you doing that? Because you want to hear the intelligence and the brilliance of this person's opinion, right? That's why you subscribe to these newsletters. That's why people pay money or people subscribe to newsletters. But you're not even hearing his brilliance. You're not even hearing his opinion. You're hearing artificial intelligence. Artificial intelligence that's way more intelligent than him. Think about that. I mean, he admitted it. He admitted he uses AI.
So I've been noodling around with a new, if you want, detective series. I have been, with the help of AI, I've been doing some creative writing, Fast Eddie. It occurred to me that during the whole Russiagate scandal with all the names, my eyes were glazing over. And I thought, I'm paid to pay attention to this all the time. People that are busy and have lives that aren't paid to pay attention to this stuff all the time but are trying and want to keep up, I don't know how they keep up with all the names all the time. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was too much.
Unless you're like a writer, man, I agree with you. It's way too much. Names. Yeah.
It's just, and I understand people that are, that have time on their hands. Like, they get hip deep in this stuff. They love, the yarn, the detective yarn on the board, connected Nellie Orr with the candlestick and the lead pipe and the... I can't do it. Like, it's too much. And so I started thinking to myself, what's an easier way to consume this story for people that have never heard it? And I'm really probably not as much talking about this audience. But on the off chance there are new people that are happening by the show or don't know much about the Russiagate hoax, I thought, I'm going to start writing this like a detective, like a true crime novel. And I wrote up some stuff and I asked AI to kind of help me with it, and it was kind of funny what it spat out. So I created a new undercover agency and a new undercover agent named Chris Drebin. You like it?
But back to what I'm saying. And you know what the crazy part was about that? Mark Weaver actually, gave him a compliment on his newsletter. Said it was such a brilliant piece. Yeah, a brilliant, artificially intelligent, piece.
a guy like Obama or Biden will be back in the driver's seat, and they'll start screeching emergency to justify what they want to do. So where do you come down on it as an officer of the court, Mark?
Yeah, this is, first of all, good analysis. This is why people listen to you. And I see this analysis in the first few paragraphs of the Harumph Society Substack newsletter, because you've read these legal issues, and so you're prepared to analyze them. And let me give you my perspective as a lawyer.
Well, back to what I was saying about this meathead in Florida and the vaccine mandate talk. You know, conservatives in talk radio lately, and that's why I miss Rush Limbaugh so much. Lately, the intellectual dishonesty is at a fever pitch. What's going on in Florida with the vaccine mandate being taken away is wrong. And why is it wrong? Mainly because of all the immigration that's been flowing into our country from countries that have rampant viruses and disease. That alone, it's common sense why the mandates for the childhood vaccines, the Schedule I vaccines, need to be in place. That alone should tell you, like, listen, we need to keep these in place because you got a lot of people coming into this country. They're coming from countries where there are no vaccine schedules. There's rampant virus, rampant disease. Common sense, right? So Meathead, Chris DeGaulle, plays a clip of Mark Wayne Mullen. Great guy. He's just, wrong-headed in what he's saying. But the crazy part is, what Mark Wayne Mullen said proves why the Schedule I mandates for vaccines for kids for entering school need to be in place. But see, Meathead played the clip thinking it was going to support why it shouldn't be in place. But if you listen to Mark Wayne Mullen and his argument, he's basically saying this is why it has to be in place. Listen to him.
As to this lie that, well, if RFK Jr. gets his way, kids are going to get more sick. I thought Mark Wayne Mullen made a fantastic point here yesterday, one of the most salient points out there. On this issue, you've probably heard this. Measles are on the rise. Measles are on the rise. And it's somehow RFK Jr.'s 7 months at HHS that are causing it. But he makes a very solid point here in number 38. Listen.
We don't know anything about vaccines. What we're saying is what Bobby's doing is questioning science.
But you're taking
used to it was okay.
You're
going to
risk
science.
kids dying of measles.
We're not going to die. We're not taking the risk of measles. We're not anti.
More kids have died of measles in this country this year than in decades.
Well, if you want to get into that, we can talk about the open to southern border and what caused that. Because you had an inflation over 20 million people that came over illegally underneath the Biden administration that wasn't vaccinated. We're not talking about measles outbreaks from kids that were born and raised here inside the United States. We're talking about ones that were brought over here illegally. And you can make that connection. There's no one can argue that.
That's exactly right. Harumph, 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 Senator Mark Wayne Mullen going into the lion's den, that dishonest on CNN. He goes, you want to talk about measles and disease? Let's talk about a wide open southern border for years under that pretend president that you weren't even the least bit curious about. Millions of people pouring across our country. That was always the lie. I think that the open southern border exposed the lie of the left's argument on public health more than maybe any other. If you really think about it, the American left wanted our borders wide open with God knows who pouring over our southern border, absolutely no knowledge of their health, no knowledge of their vaccine status, no knowledge if they had anything from head lice to measles to mumps to anything else. No knowledge. Just come on in. And then we're going to plug them into rural communities and our kids' school districts. And then we start having outbreaks of disease, head lice, measles, and the like. And the media says, RFK Jr.'s a lunatic. He's getting kids killed. There are more cases of measles. You imported millions of undocumented people. We don't know where the hell they came from or their health status. Disease is now spreading in the country, and you want to say it's RFK Jr. asking, do we need to keep our kids on an aggressive shot schedule? What a dishonest bunch of...
Because of the illegal immigration, the unvetted flow that came into this country, And although it's been curbed under this administration, that is probably the main reason why we need to have these vaccines mandated for kids going into school. But Meathead thought that the clip was going to prove his point that it doesn't need to be in place. Because he's stupid. He's not that intelligent. He is an intellectually dishonest fucking Momo. Special kind of stupid. Again, this is the same guy who some people are actually paying to read a newsletter that he's writing with artificial intelligence. Make it make sense. I heard a few people yesterday on talk radio basically supporting what Governor DeSantis is doing in Florida. Common sense is what conservatism is all about, right? It ain't too common these days on a lot of issues sometimes.